when it got to the worst, I couldn't go outside. I couldn't go run. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to anymore because my body couldn't do it. The only way I could be free is if I ate.
My name is Christine. I am Juliette's mother. Juliette was born December 27th, 2001. She was a very serious child and baby from the beginning. She was a deep thinker and always a very deep feeler. But she also had this really fun side where she loved singing, acting, be kind of the center of attention, so it was always in between. Early on we realized that Julia had some anxiety issues. She would get worried very easily about little things and about the clothing that she would wear or the situation, you know, people around her. So my children went to France every summer, you know, for like 8 weeks, and that was my way to establish a relationship, you know, the kids with my parents. That said, you know, the summer of her 14th birthday, I remember very well my mother calling me and telling me that Juliette was starting to be very difficult with food. You know, food is very important in France. You know, we eat a lot, you know, the meals are very important. And I remember thinking, oh, my mom's being dramatic, you know, like, oh, that's just a phase. She's, you know, she's fine, it's no big deal.
The summer of my 7th grade year, I started getting into dieting. Very fixated on my body and the way my body changed when I ate a certain type of way.
Like, dieting is one of the #1 predictors of developing an eating disorder. So again, someone's like, oh, I'm just trying to be a little bit healthier, and they start to restrict their nutritional intake, and that sort of spirals. That, I would say, is very common, especially with adolescents.
You know, after that summer she came home and I remember thinking, oh, this is actually quite different.
It was just an escalation. At the end of the day, I just got more and more obsessive, and it became an addiction of mine to be fixated on my body.
There was absolutely no fried food, absolutely no cheese, the bread, like it had to be like almost like raw, pure.
And as time went on, I limited my eating, and I stopped eating snacks. And then I stopped eating dessert, and I would just stick to 3 meals a day. And then I started minimizing the 3 meals a day, little by little, sorting my food. I was just in it. I was all in. It was my hobby, it was my life.
My name is Brett Hermansky. I'm a registered dietitian here at the Com Center. Anorexia specifically is classified by extreme calorie restriction with a significant weight loss and a low body weight, as well as a fear of gaining weight.
So she came back from France. She was 14 and she started doing soccer and went to watch one of her games like back in October that year. And I remember watching her, and like that day I realized, oh gosh, she is so skinny. I remember at that game she was extremely emotional. That next week I made an appointment at the doctor's. And right away was able to give me a diagnosis of anorexia nervosa.
So total nutrition intake is going to be infinitely more important than like any one specific food, because those starvation effects affect brain development. Things like vitamin D and zinc, when those are low, things like anxiety and depression can be worse.
The doctor said, she is very underweight right now. I need to see her every week. And we went every week, and she was thinner, and her weight decreased every single week.
And if I didn't eat, I would have to drink a peanut butter banana smoothie. And I remember that. My dad would make me that, and I would just throw a fit. My fits were like a toddler's fits. Like, I would be tossing around, throwing stuff. That eating disorder took my grown ass away from me, and I was still a toddler. What left me more and more was my social life, my relationship with my parents. I made videos of myself on my computer. I would put my hands around my stomach and measure myself. I turned into a monster and someone that I was really not. I just turned into the demon of the eating disorder. The hierarchy in my head was based on how skinny you were. The doctor said, in my doctor's checkup, they weighed me and they're like, this is it. We're gonna put you on a feeding tube, or you're gonna have to go to treatment.
So the doctor gave me a bunch of different facility, and I started the full, research with a big weight on my heart and on my stomach, thinking, gosh, I'm a failure. Like, I really felt like I was a failure. The role of a parent, or like mostly mother, I think, is to feed your child, and so I knew deep down that there was an issue, but I was almost sure I could fix it.
So I went into the eating disorder place, Cambridge Eating Disorder Center, my 8th grade year. It was very scary. I wasn't used to girls self-harming. Police came sometimes and we all had to go into a room.
They would watch them go to the bathroom, so, because, it's all eating disorders, it's bulimia, so they have to make sure the kids don't throw up the food that they eat. They take the vitals every day. Like, it's a very, very structured environment, which felt A little scary, honestly. I mean, you know, she's 14, she's a kid.
I was very blessed because that place saved my life. I had doctors on my back all the time, nutritionists and therapy and eating schedules and not exercising, not canceling out what I've eaten.
You know, again, you have to remember that this is a disease, that's not your child.
Let me be clear, I'm never going to be mad at you. I might be really, really mad at your eating disorder. But a lot of times it is hard for them too. You know, they are fighting back because the eating disorder is fighting to keep them sick and ill. And I just have to reiterate to them all the time. Like, I'm never mad at them. I'm mad at their eating disorder.
So I think what really saved me was the goal to get on the soccer team at my new high school. And I really wanted to play soccer. And for those past 2 years of recovery, I was unable to play a sport, a team sport. I wasn't able to be social and be a teenager. And I wanted that freedom. I loved it because I was out of my mind and onto the fields. And I met new friends, and I was able to create a personality. I was able to develop, which I've been avoiding to do for those 2 years. I wanted to just not die, but that was where it was going.
Start now. Hi, I'm Juliet, and I will sing the district song, Above the Plain.